Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of My United News Live on United Talks podcast. We're here to give you all of the news as they come, all of the news as we see them, plus deep dives and research and all of that. So join us as we go deep into these news and everything, especially what has happened the last 24 hours, as well as the fact that Manchester United players are just returning from international duty, and we got the inside scoop on My United website with regards to them returning. We'll give you all of the daily Manchester United news as per some of the reliable sources and very few sources that are just out there, and then obviously there's a whole lot that's going on. Basically, the one that we have, from basically Ben Jacobs, is with regards to Eric Cantona being involved and all of that. So there's a whole lot going on. We'll talk about Leny Yoro, we'll talk about the fixture chaos, which we talked about yesterday or 2 days ago, but we're still going to talk about them, especially with the fact that our December games have been rescheduled. There's also Carlos Baleba update. There's also conversations about Joshua Zirkzee and stuff, and then Noussair Mazraoui, and then there's also the redevelopment news update. I think most of us have seen it, but then we're just gonna give it to you. And then there's also the transfer talk for a 17-year-old Mexican talent, which we'll talk about, and then Rúben Amorim's praise for Academy Jam, and also we'll talk about Phil Jones on his talk about Phil Jones' thoughts on Rúben Amorim. So yeah, join us. Let's have these conversations and go for that ride. Then after this live, we will come back again with the match preview for the Manchester United the Liverpool versus Manchester United game for the weekend. So join us. Let's get it going. So like I said, somewhere along the line, I have some takeover updates for you and all of that. For first, we'll start with all of the news from the last 24 hours. The first one we have on our list is Leny Yoro has officially made the 25-man shortlist for the 2025 Golden Boy Award. This award has always contained Man United players over the years, including Anderson, who won it at some point, Wayne Rooney and the likes of them. So it is a good thing that we have Man United players who are actually making these shortlists for the awards and stuff. So yeah, long may it continue, and hopefully Leny Yoro gets to win it, because he is a 19-year-old who's playing like a 23-year-old. But it is what it is. Next one we have on our list is Manchester United have had 4 fixtures in December changed. The West Ham game will be on Thursday night, Wolves game will be on Monday night, and Bournemouth game will be on Monday night, and then the Aston Villa game will be on Sunday evening. And the truth is, it's not good news for match-going fans. A lot of match-going fans are frowning at it with the way it is, because obviously Monday night and Thursday night are weekdays, and they have to go to work and then to come back and still go to Old Trafford when they should be chilling the weekend. But it's not good for match-going fans. And then for the Sunday evening, it's like the last game, and you're coming back and you have to go home to sleep to now make it back to work the next day. So it's still not good as well. So that's pretty much what it is. That's kind of like the news we have from today. And then as per Fabrizio Romano, Brighton have no intention of selling Manchester United target Carlos Baleba in January. It will take a crazy offer to convince him. This came from Fabrizio in the last 24 hours. There's a whole lot that's been going on with this Carlos Baleba situation, and it seems like Man United have pivoted to Adam Wharton and Elliot Anderson. And I talked about Elliot Anderson a lot yesterday. But then there's still news from the Elliot Anderson front. And that news is the fact that Manchester City are plotting a £75 million bid for Elliot Anderson for Nottingham Forest, from Nottingham Forest next summer, but are likely to face stiff competitions from Chelsea for the 22-year-old England international. And there's also the fact that Manchester United are interested. And also, speaking of other midfielders, Crystal Palace are relaxed about the future of Adam Wharton amid speculations of interest from Premier League rivals Manchester United for the 21-year-old England midfielder. So that one is there on its own, and we have to keep our eye out for what goes on there and everything. So it's crazy. It's crazy. We have to just basically observe and believe that Manchester United are gonna succeed in getting this midfielder that we want. The next one we have on our list, keep getting notifications, just give me one quick second, let me put this thing aside. So the next one we have on our list is basically just before we go there, Manchester United are interested in signing a striker in the summer and are targeting Matteo Retegui with Rúben Amorim prepared to spend up to 52 million for the 26-year-old Italy forward from Saudi Pro League Al Qadisiyah. So that is for Matteo Retegui. Also there is just give me one quick second. Okay, Bayern Munich, Barcelona and Real Madrid are set to battle each other to sign Bayern Munich defender Dayot Upamecano, 26, on a free next summer, but Manchester United are also interested in the France international, according to Foot Mercato in French. AS Roma are also in pole position to sign Man United forward Joshua Zirkzee from Bochum, also have the finances to bring 24-year-old Netherlands striker back to Serie A. And that's pretty much basically some of those rumors. We'll talk about the Zirkzee one based on what Fabrizio Romano has said and all of that. So yeah, with the midfield situation, they have no intention to sell. Brighton have no intention to sell in January, which is a bummer. We need a midfielder right now, which will make us to go into the market to look for other midfielders the options that will suit Manchester United. So we'll keep our eye out for that and for those news as they come. Then also, as for Fabrizio Romano, like I said, I just talked about Zirkzee now. Joshua Zirkzee may consider a return to Italy if his situation at Man United doesn't change. The likes of Juventus and Inter have previously been interested in the player, but he chose to stay. Yes, but also, Zirkzee shouldn't also forget that there will be chance for him to play at least from December to like January, but it is what it is. We have to keep an eye out and observe as things unfold. As per Samuel Lacoste, Noussair Mazraoui could return for Manchester United's clash against Liverpool at Anfield on Sunday. I see a lot of people expecting and hoping that Noussair Mazraoui plays in that game. Hopefully he gets the chance to play, and then we'll observe as things go. Now, as per Mike Keegan from Millsport, Manchester United are optimistic about acquiring the land around Old Trafford following constructive discussions with the owners, Freightliner. This would pave the way for construction of the new stadium based on the initial plans, so including the controversial canopy, because there was news obviously that Man United were potentially going to rethink their plans and rethink their decisions with regards to basically wanting to build the new stadium and all of that, and the canopy situation kind of raised the eyebrows for fans. This was just released 28 minutes ago from the fourth official through One Football, and they say West Ham have been busy, so West Ham have to pay £30 million for United striker should the Hammers make the move. West Ham have been busy scouting for forward options under their new manager Nuno Espirito Santo. Their focus, however, seems more long-term than immediate. Meanwhile, several Premier League clubs have turned their attention to Manchester United forward Joshua Zirkzee, his uncertain future now draws interest from sides searching for goal. In this scenario, former Man City financial advisor Stefan Borsen told Football Insider that Manchester United could receive around £30 million for the Dutch forward. The figure has attracted Everton and West Ham United. Both clubs want to strengthen their attacking department in January. Everton have struggled also to find consistent output up front, so they plan to make a move for another striker to add more bite to their attack. And Nuno, on the other hand, will be looking to bring more firepower into West Ham squad and steady results in the demanding season. Borsen also explained that Manchester United spent around 30 million and 40 million, between 30 and 40 million to get Zirkzee, and far less than what clubs usually pay for elite strikers. His wages are manageable. Borsen also says that the player hasn't impressed fully, but fully remains hasn't impressed fully, but remains a sellable asset. He believes that Zirkzee could fetch 30 million in current market. Teams like Everton and West Ham can afford that figure or set up a loan deal with an option to buy. So yeah, I don't want Zirkzee to go. I want him to stay at Man United, and I want him to play. But it is what it is. So this is kind of some sort of like an opinion piece, or some sort of like, a conversation with regards to, just Zirkzee and the options he has as it stands for him in Man United. But I hope that he's able to get the chance to actually deliver in this club. I hope he gets a chance to even score goals. Last season was a bit off and on, stop start, and then there's also the change of manager and everything, so hopefully things will change for him. Also, in other news, this is more of a cheerful news because I think I watched the game, so at least I can tell you for a fact what happened in the game. Basically, Manchester United women beat Atletico Madrid 0-1 in their in Spain. Basically, Atletico Madrid's home, as Rolfo's strike seals Man United win, second straight win in the competition. Two wins in two. I was pretty impressed with the game, the way the team played. But there were some interesting decisions that were made in that game. Basically, two were sent off in the game. So before we go into that, just basically, telling you our thoughts on the game. Freightliner Rolfo, who scored our first Manchester United goal, helped edge past Atletico Madrid in a testing Women's Champions League tie that saw both sides have players sent off. The fact is, I think in that game, saw something that Manchester United women have to offer in this Champions League, and to be the team that just finished beating another team 5-0 in the Champions League is a good thing for the women's team. So yeah, they beat Atletico Madrid 1-0 in Spain, so in Madrid. That's pretty much what that is. Okay, so in other news, Manchester United are preparing to face Liverpool at Anfield this weekend in a crucial Premier League match, and Bruno Fernandes, Matheus Cunha, Ahmad and Casemiro were reportedly given extra time off and were not pictured in training on Thursday. They didn't come in Thursday, so that's pretty much done on that. Lisandro Martinez is nearly returned to full training after 8 months sidelined with a knee injury. There's slight possibility that he could be back by end of October, which we're observing. He was in training today. Was he in training? He came to the training ground today, so we observed that. Noussair Mazraoui, who also missed the last 2 games with a minor injury, could also be available for Liverpool clash, as I just said earlier. Aiden Heaven, however, missed training after being taken off at halftime in England's under-20 match against Switzerland last week, so he's not there. Yeah. Now, with regards to, like I just said to you, other primary targets for midfield, Man United's primary midfield targets has reportedly shifted from Carlos Baleba to Adam Wharton of Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace are saying they're not in a hurry to sell, but some are United see Wharton as the next Michael Carrick, which is pretty much a good comparison considering his style of play and all that. But so United are monitoring Germany and Bayern Munich midfielder Alexander Pavlovic, which I talked about the last 2 days or so. And then reports also suggest that Manchester United are considering extending Casemiro's contract beyond the season, but only if he agrees to a wage cut, which is also something we talked about a few days ago. Manchester United are also optimistic about securing the necessary land for the proposed new stadium behind Old Trafford. So that news basically is quite interesting to see, basically, as Man United have I saw something where they said they've had positive talks, and we will see as things unfold. And then Peter Schmeichel commented on Eric Cantona's impact at the club, describing him as a shy guy but also an inspiration. We'll talk about Eric Cantona at the end, towards the middle of this stream. Also, Man United blocked the sale of 4,500 tickets for his recent home game against Chelsea due to the use of automated purchasing systems or bots. We need to see all that. This is what's happening. So now, with regards to the stadium land, Manchester United say that they are still hopeful of buying the land needed to build the stadium, including the circus tent canopy. Talks between the club and local land owners, over the site behind the Old Trafford Stadium, which is presently used by freight terminal, are yet to reach positive conclusion. We will be right back. Okay, welcome back. So basically, United have drawn up different plans, but minority owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe has his sights on the grand scheme to unveil. On the grand scheme he unveiled at the London East, in London last year. So the stadium situation was raised last month's fans for a meeting, at which the club officials attempted to calm the situation. So we brought you that news. We talked about it and all of that, and we talked about like some of the things that have gone on with regards to the fan forum, and we talked about the stadium, and everybody was a bit optimistic. But let me tell you one thing that I realized about this stadium. If this stadium plan becomes successful, I think Sir Jim Ratcliffe will have a leverage over the club, and he would also be able to, it seems like it was something where they said if he builds a stadium, then he has leverage, and he will be able to stake his claim if he wants to buy the club in full, because it's going to definitely increase the value of the club. And then also Peter Schmeichel also talked about the aura and the swagger of Cantona and the memories and all of that. And then I talked to you a few seconds ago about Bruno, Mateusz Cunha, and Ahmad and Casemiro also missing Man United training on Thursday morning, as the quartet were given extra time off by manager Rúben Amorim. The quartet were not pictured in the morning session, part of which was filmed by Sky Sports. But United take on Liverpool on Sunday, and they look to win back-to-back matches in the Premier League for the first time this season. Rúben Amorim is also likely to be without Noussair Mazraoui, who's also missed last two matches with what he has described as a minor injury. But the Morocco defender didn't play in the country's World Cup qualifier with Congo on Monday. Now, Lisandro Martinez also wasn't there either, even though we saw him walk in. But it's edging closer to a return. Shea Lacey, Jim Thwaites, and Jack Fletcher were amongst the youngsters, including Chido Obi, while Aiden Heaven missed out after he was taken off at halftime in England's 20 defeat to Switzerland on Friday. So it's been a day full of news and all of that. Is what it is. So I just talked to you about Nico Riley. I mean, rather, Manchester United defender Leny Yoro, and also Man City's fullback Nico Riley, and Liverpool centre half Giovanni Leone in the 25 list for Golden Boy, but it is what it is. Now we will talk more about, just give me one quick sec. We'll talk more about other news. I think the last one I have on my list here is a reliable source of South American news known as CL Merlo says that Manchester United and Barcelona are the two clubs most interested in signing 17-year-old Mexican attacking midfielder Gilberto Mora. However, he wouldn't be able to play for the club until January 2027 at the earliest. So keep an eye out for that. It's not a player that we need right for the now, but it is what it is. Now, I'm just seeing an interesting news right now with regards to our 17-year-old South American signing, Cristian Orozco. Bundesliga side failed with last-minute hijack attempt. This is according to the people's person via One Football. While Ineos might have failed to bring a senior defensive midfielder in the summer, Manchester United have signed a gem for the future in that position. As relayed by the people's person, Colombian young star Cristian Orozco has been signed by the club, and he will join next summer once he turns 18. Now, the 17-year-old impressed for Colombia under 17s in the under 17 South American Championship earlier, guiding his country to all the way to the final. Now, Cristian Orozco obviously has agreed a move to United. Now, Manchester United used a similar strategy when they signed Diego Leon, Aiden Evans, and Sekou Kone in the last 18 months, with Jason Wilcox happy to include new faces when the transfer fee is cheap and the talent's potential is covered very good in all these cases. Now, it deals in account to how the 20-time Champions League English League champions had dallied when it had come to signing Moises Caicedo. So when we had the chance to sign Moises Caicedo, we did not take the move, we did not take the chance, and then he was snapped up by Brighton and then eventually moved to Chelsea, and the rest is history. But Cristian Orozco has already been dubbed the next Caicedo for his skill set, and United's co-owners have once again shown that they mean business when it comes to the youth recruitment, and it is also heartening to see that Old Trafford side focusing on scouting South American market and has been ignored, which has been ignored for a long time. Now, when you bring out news like this, you try to wonder what really happened. Yeah. The people's person just dropped a news, and they said a German club or a Bundesliga club tried to hijack the Orozco deal, and they didn't say who, they didn't say anything, it is what it is. So moving on to other things, I think one of the news I wanted to bring to you is the fact that Eric Cantona has been involved in the takeover conversations with regards to Manchester United, and I will get it for you. Now, Ben Jacobs came out. I saw this on X first, and I went and did a deep dive just to kind of find out what is really happening with regards to, this whole takeover talk, because everybody wants to talk about takeover. Everybody wants to talk about, what next, what will happen, what Man United, what is the fate of Manchester United? And yeah, that's where I was going to. What's the fate of Manchester United when it comes to the takeover conversations and all of that. Before that, Rúben Amorim and Shea Lacey had plenty of one-on-one conversations around training ground, and there is said to be an eagerness to put Lacey in a position to succeed in the very near future. That one is one to watch, is one to kind of find out, what's really happening and all of that. And then this one, I don't know how this concerns us, but we're going to talk about it because it concerns Manchester United. So according to Mike Keegan, a controversial new salary cap, which some believe will destroy the Premier League, could just give me one quick sec. Something is freezing here. So there's a chance that so a controversial new salary cap, which some believe will destroy the Premier League, could become a reality as early as next month. Both Manchester clubs are known to be opposed to the system, which would run on top of new squad cost ratio rules. Based on the 2023-24 figures, that would mean an approximate limit of 550 million and mean that some sides would be at immediate risk of breach. Now, to compound matters, the proposal is for a second breach to be dealt with by a 6-point deduction with additional point for every 6.5 million pound overspend. So it's one of those things. Now my question to you guys, just let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. What are your takes? What's your take on this whole Zirkzee situation, and his move to Italy and all of that? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. And I'm seeing this new breakdown of the news from Nathan Bishop, Manchester United goalkeeper, former Man United Academy goalkeeper. Nathan Bishop, former Man United Academy goalkeeper, recounts Eric Ten Hag's door slam rejection. Nathan Bishop, a former Man United Academy goalkeeper, shared on Beyond the Box podcast how Eric Ten Hag rejected his contract request by opening his office door and saying "not today" before slamming his shot, leaving Bishop stunned in the hallway. The incident occurred during Ten Hag's first season as United manager in 22-23, before Bishop's departure to Sunderland in 2023. The viral story on X actually has drawn reactions ranging from amusement to criticism of Ten Hag's management style, with parallels noted to his handling of other youth players like Alvaro Fernandez. We all know Alvaro Fernandez is now currently at Real Madrid. So with regards to that, we move on to other things. Now I saw this, like I said to you earlier, I saw this news on this was Ben Jacobs talking about it, I think on the United stand, and he said that Eric Cantona has held direct talks about becoming an ambassador for Man United with prospective UAE-based consortium. That is what he has said, basically. After that, we'll talk about some other Man United signings and stuff. But I found the news on Football 365 and then also Manchester Evening News. Manchester Evening News is saying, let me just give you the Manchester Evening News one. We analyze it and then we'll move on to the Football 365 one. Eric Cantona approached in a new Man United takeover twist as Sheikh Jassim update emerges. Sheikh Jassim doesn't want to leave, the Sheikh Jassim story doesn't want to leave anytime soon. So we'll talk about it basically. This is today, like a few minutes ago, right? Manchester United takeover updates have been in overdrive in recent weeks with club legend Eric Ten Hag. Is it because I just talked about Eric Ten Hag? Eric Cantona involved in the latest twist. Eric Cantona has been mentioned in the latest Man United takeover claim following fresh investment talk from the Middle East. The Glazer family recently opened the door to outside funding, with Ineos chief Sir Jim Ratcliffe acquiring a minority stake in the club last year. In his 20 months officially as part of United, Ratcliffe has made, now they said minority stake last year. It wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago, but they say last year. So make of it what you will. The Manchester Evening News. In his 20 months, now they mentioned 20 months. 20 months is over a year, isn't it? It's not 12, it's 20. That's 1 year and 8 months. Okay. In 20 months as part of part of United, Ratcliffe has made a huge impact, which has included giving Eric Ten Hag a new contract. How is that a huge impact? This guys. Anyway, contract before sacking him, appointing Rúben Amorim, and also reshaping the club at the boardroom level with multiple dismissals and hires. Even though he only recently made an investment, takeover rumors were sparked over the international break when Saudi official Turkey Al Sheikh stated an investor was close to striking a deal for Man United, and he was forced to later clarify that he was not the potential investor, with TalkSport stating the belief was they are UAE based. Their report also added that some United legends have been approached over being involved in any potential bid, with some clarity on exactly that, and specifically one name that was approached being revealed. According to journalist Ben Jacobs via the United Stand, Cantona, I thought yesterday we talked about this in our live stream, and we said that they said they don't really know much of what is going on with regards to takeovers, because when takeovers happens, it's shrouded. These were the language, these were the words they used. It's shrouded in secrecy. Now they're saying, they are staking a claim and revealing things as though they already know, but we will see. Let's break it down. Let's keep it going. According to journalist Ben Jacobs via United Stand, Cantona has held direct talks over potentially taking up an ambassadorial role that would see him back a prospective consortium in a bid for United. Other former players have also been contacted, but it would not be with a view to invest. When Ratcliffe put forward his bid, there was concrete talk of Sheikh Jassim also possibly investing, but that never materialized, and it has been noted in this update that he's categorically not backed at the table, or not back at the table, basically. So in other words, they're saying Sheikh Jassim is categorically not back at the table. However, as things stand on the takeover front, nothing is advanced, with the Glazers also not involved in any form of talks about possibly selling. So why are you guys pushing the narrative that they might have conversations about, oh, we're going to buy United? You know how these rich people talk. Oh, we're going to buy United, and then obviously somebody now says, oh, I have it on good authority that people are that there's going to be new owners for Man United, and then the Glazers are not going to sell, but you guys keep saying the Glazers will sell. United owners seem to be really involved in the day-to-day proceedings at the club, with Ratcliffe recently admitting that that is very much his remit. He also went on to issue a response to the criticism they have faced in the numerous years. So basically, he said in that criticism that the Glazers are nice people. So that is what it is. So make of it what you will. Now, that is pretty much what they have, and that is based off of what Ben Jacobs said. I saw this on X as well, so based off of what Ben Jacobs said. Now, on Man United, Football 365 is saying that Jacobs reveals 6 key takeover details as most interesting update reveals approach. This was released about an hour ago. Let's see what the 6 details are. Okay, so it means we have to go through the whole article. This is what he said. Basically, according to reports, there has been an approach to Manchester United legend who is in direct talks over his involvement in a potential takeover. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's minority takeover in Man United was initially met with a huge positivity, though he has become incredibly an unpopular figure. That's what they're saying, right? You know, they can make of it what they will. They can say whatever they want. The Ineos chief owns a stake in the region of 29% and has taken control of football operations at Old Trafford, while the Glazer family remain in the background. So now we're trying to see. Now, a large portion of the fan base got excited when Saudi Arabian boxing promoter Turkey Al Sheikh claimed that the new takeover is advanced. Since there have since been conflicting reports on potential deal, but journalist Ben Jacob moved to clear up the key details. Key details. Getting my words out now. Jacobs has confirmed that talks are not advanced, though a group from the UAE are interested. A group from the UAE is interested, while a few variables set the full takeover price. So the latest is as follows. Number one, the Glazers have not had an offer from anybody. So and then he says, could they be, this is what Ben Jacob says, according to him on the United stand, could they be holding talks behind other people at the club's back? Absolutely. Are they advanced? No. And then where does the money come from? Well, Turkey Al-Sheikh confirms something that we broke in this show, and that it is not Saudi Arabia. So what is he saying? It is basically the conversation he's having on the on the channel. So he says, I don't want to disappoint the chat, but Sheikh Jassim is not coming back to the table. There is no possibility, I am told. Okay. And in addition to that, the number the Glazers want is in excess of £5 billion. We talked about this like 2 days ago. And if you go back through the SEC filing to look at the different bids from Shape, none of the offers were anywhere close to that number. And what makes the number higher is if whilst this drag issue, this drag is supposed to be drag along clause. While this drag along clause is valid, the Glazers do sell. So Jim Ratcliffe is guaranteed $33 a share, which takes the overall valuation of the club to something around 4.7 billion. So again, not far off the £5 billion number. And all of this means if someone's to buy the club now, they are going to have to pay a premium, and then Sir Jim Ratcliffe will have to go buy a wanted 100%. What does that mean? Sir Jim Ratcliffe would have to go buy a wanted 100%. So there's a few variables there. This doesn't make sense. Go by 100. So what they're trying to say, this is me trying to decipher the grammatical error here, is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe will have to go by the 100% sale, which is drag along and all of that. So the most interesting thing revealed by Jacobs at the United legend is that United legend Eric Cantona has held direct talks with the group and has been approached about coming on board. Then the last thing and the most important and the most interesting thing is that I can add is that I think this counts as a bit of a United stand exclusive. This is what he said. Is that within the UAE, one company in particular is involved in these talks, Jacobs added. It's unclear whether they will front the consortium, but International Holding Company, or IHC, which has been around for about 3 decades, have been part of talks to put together a perspective of a UAE-based consortium. So that's the key detail in that one. IHC is interested. I think I know that company, IHC. IHC is interested in putting together a consortium that's UAE-based to take over Manchester United. Now, he said, we don't know whether anything is going to materialize. And as we said on TalkSport a few weeks ago, some ex-Man United legends have also been sounded out not to invest, but just to be ambassadors. And quite interestingly, some, I think they'll be excited to others. Okay, exciting to others, right? That was what it means, just typo here. I think they will almost feel the optics of this are not quite right because of the kind of personality he is. One ex-Manchester United legend in particular has held direct talks about maybe coming on board. He added, I will just stress one thing really clearly. It's somewhere near as advanced as Turkey implied. He says it's nowhere near as advanced as Turkey implied, nor have the Glazers had any kind of direct contact. Yet, there's no guarantee this even develops into anything, but Eric Cantona is one of the names that has been approached. So, pretty much kind of like a nothing news, but like I always say, that well, we all know this. There's no smoke without fire. There's no how they're gonna bring such a news and then we'll just kind of assume that assume that it does not work or it's not true or something. But we have to just kind of make of it what we will and analyze it. Like I said, the takeover talks, yeah, it keeps going. We can say what we want to say and all of that. Many people don't like Sir Jim Ratcliffe because of the perceived way in which he has dealt with certain issues at the club with regards to increasing ticket pricing and all of that, and also in regards to spending at the club. So yeah, it is pretty interesting to see with regards to that. Yeah. So Samalakos is saying, I don't know what you guys think will take of this. He says it's no surprise that Casemiro was absent from the MUFC training at quarantine after treks to Korea and Japan with Brazil. Treks. Okay. Ugarte started at City in the first game after September international break and wouldn't be surprised if he comes in at Anfield as he wasn't in experimental Uruguay squad. Okay. Now, as I said to you earlier, according to other sources, including Daily Express, Manchester City are preparing a £5 million bid for Nottingham Forest midfielder Elliot Anderson. He's one player I admire the most. Let's talk about Elliot Anderson a little bit before we go. He's one player I admire the most. I've watched him at Nottingham Forest, and the attention is going to switch to him right now. Chelsea are so interested. Man United have a keen interest, and it seems like any player that Manchester United has interest in, other clubs will just kind of pounce on that player. Surely if it is Elliot Anderson, and knowing that we desperately need midfielders, Nottingham Forest will make it difficult. And then with Marinakis as he is right now, Marinakis might not be able to be a good person to negotiate deals with. So yeah, Anderson is such a good player. He's your regular box-to-box midfielder. He can play as a defensive midfielder, which is his primary role. He can play as central midfielder and play as an attacking midfielder, but he's your box-to-box midfielder. He's your guy that can orchestrate things. And I talked about Rúben Amorim having 4 different kinds of midfielders in his team. And those 4 midfielders include 2 defensive midfielders or 1 defensive midfielder who is in number 6, and a central midfielder who is on number 8 or in number 6 as well, box-to-box. And then you have your 2 10s. One of the 10s is a wider 10, and the other one is a narrower 10. The wider 10 is the one that makes the field wider and longer, and then the narrower 10 is the one that drives the ball from the midfield and also, when necessary, populates the midfield. And that is what I think will happen when Rúben Amorim features Mason Mount in the Premier League game against Liverpool. He will start Mount over Cunha and bring Cunha as an impact player. Now, the fact is, he would put Mount in that game because he wants Mount to drop into the midfield as a central midfielder when we are being outnumbered in midfield, or because Liverpool play 4-2-3-1. So I'll analyze this in a match preview. You'll see that, and we'll talk about it, and then we break it down from there. So yeah, we look forward to how that pans out and all that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Anderson is a good player. I like him. He's an okay player for a team like Nottingham Forest. Surprisingly, he was at Newcastle and then he was sold to Nottingham Forest because of PSR situations and issues, but it is what it is. If Man United get him, fine, but the truth is we'll always pay a premium if we come for players like Anderson and Man United. Then there's another one which we talked about a few days ago, Kenan Yildiz. Man United are one of the European clubs circling Kenan Yildiz. Clubs are, this is according to Gazzetta dello Sport, this is according to clubs are waiting to see the outcome of contract talks between the player and Juventus. Apart from that, pretty much everything straightforward for Manchester United. We look forward to the Liverpool game. We expect that we expect that things will pan out basically okay for Manchester United, as the case may be. Something interesting happened with regards to Now, Rúben Amorim is said to be very enthused by the version of Shea Lacey, and the boss regularly has one-on-one discussions with him during training. So, and there's genuine internal desire to put him in the best conditions to succeed in the near future. So, Amorim treats Lacey like any other first-team player. So, no kid gloves or special treatment for Shea Lacey for being an academy player. So that's according to Nathan Salt. With the Shea Lacey situation, Stoney also said Shea Lacey, Jim Thwaites. This is, I think, Simon Stone. Yeah, this is Simon Stone. Simon Stone is saying that Shea Lacey, Jim Thwaites, and Jack Fletcher were amongst the youngsters in training with the first team this morning, including, I think, Chido Obi. So yeah, we'll observe as things unfold. With Shea Lacey, he's one player I watched, but he was plagued with injuries the last 3 years or thereabout. Plagued with injuries, and it's been difficult for him to find his rhythm and and be able to start as well. But it is what it is. We have to keep an eye out for him. He's a good player, and he's one player that I know that will thrive in this Man United team, as case may be. Another one from Indy Kyler, you can make of it what you will. I really never always take everything hook, line, and sinker from Indy Kyler, but Indy Kyler released an exclusive last night. He said Manchester United officials met CAA Stella, who are a world-leading sports agency, and they said Elliot Anderson is represented by CAA Stella. Man United presented their long-term project for the player to the player, who will leave Nottingham Forest this January or in the summer. So, just pretty much using other words to express the fact that Shea Lacey is of interest to Manchester United. I mean, rather, Elliot Anderson is of interest to Manchester United. Before we go on to the Phil Jones comments on Rúben Amorim, Ben Jacobs, so this one came, I think, earlier. Let me see. So this one came yesterday. So apart from what Ben Jacobs said to the United Stand about the takeover talks, on TalkSport, Ben Jacobs said on the UAE group's interest in potentially buying Manchester United, that there's a group specifically from the UAE that are interested in exploring whether or not they can put together a consortium and have actually approached some ex-Man United players not to invest but to be ambassadors. That's where we are at the moment, and this group may be advanced in terms of internally putting itself together, but they haven't placed a bid, or nor have they even alerted the Glazers yet. We'll have to wait and see as it develops. So there is no takeover talks, guys. Just to give you they're just thinking about it, but there's no talks. We will observe. We will let you know when things pan out, but it is what it is. And if you check Laurie Whitwell, David Ornstein, they're not really saying anything about this. It's just Ben Jacobs. So nothing fully reliable. Even Mike Keegan is not even saying stuff. Now, with regards to Phil Jones on Rúben Amorim, that's where we'll wrap things up. Phil Jones said this on Rúben Amorim. He said, do I want to see any manager or coach losing their job? No, especially with the route I want to go down. With the route I want go down now. Okay? He says you need time to get your squad together. I like the fact that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has come out and backed him as you would expect, but it's a result business, and if you don't get results, I don't care what length of contract you're on, 10 years, 2 years, 5 years, there will be questions and you will be looked at, which is a fact. Like, nobody should, we won't deny ourselves. Oh, thank you very much, Stuart Camry. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. Thank you for that comment. You said great show as always. I don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. Yep. Just needed to send this message. Yeah, thank you so much, Stuart. So Phil Jones says, I like the fact that Sir John Ratcliffe have come out to back Rúben Amorim, but it's a result business and you'll be looked at even if you have a 5-year, 3-year, 4-year, 2-year contract. And Sunderland was probably the most complete performance I've seen from United this season in every department. But then you play Liverpool, your fierce rival. So if you don't win there, you've got Brighton coming up, and that's not an easy game. The way they are playing at the minute. Now, if you get a draw against Liverpool and then go beat Brighton at home, you've gathered a bit of momentum and then can really kick on and use it as a catalyst to do something. Now, this is someone who is actually talking sense, basically just kind of saying things without, as in, carefully thought out words. One of the ex-players that is actually maybe a newer guy, but he's played with these guys, played with them, Gary Neville and Co, Paul Scholes, played with Rio Ferdinand, like he was a young lad at 18 at the time, saying carefully thought out words because he's also a coach. But he said this, you've gathered a bit of momentum and they can really kick on from there and use it as a catalyst to do something. How many times have we said this over the last 6 years? Yeah, of truth. We've said it so many times. Now, would I like to see Amorim succeed, do really well in the back end of this season and maybe win a trophy? Of course, I would love nothing more. So that's pretty much what we just had to say about Rúben Amorim. Yeah. And then, with regards to the Casemiro sitting out, there's news according to Samuel Lacoste, because he said Casemiro went to Korea and Japan, long travel and all of that, so he's not in training now. Now, Samuel Lacoste has said that Manuel Ugarte is under consideration for Man United's recall versus Liverpool, as he was involved in United's training on Thursday, but Casemiro was not, and he was given an extra recovery day after traveling to both South Korea and Japan with Brazil. So we will see as things go. We'll see as things go. Yeah, we'll see as things go. It is what it is. I would love to see Casemiro start that game against. I've done my lineups already. I will do it in the match preview. But I'd love to see Casemiro start against Liverpool. All of that. Yeah. I'd love to see Casemiro start against Liverpool. Matheus Cunha, who was also on international duty with Brazil, could remain on the bench for the weekend trip. Yes, he will be on the bench, most definitely. Ben Jacobs says this was a few hours ago, Ben Jacobs says it's in the Manchester United's interest to extend Harry Maguire's contract because they value him as a squad player. And if Harry Maguire would take that would be absolutely amazing. But if they extend him on the right terms and the right offer comes for Maguire during the summer, I don't think Manchester United would stand in the way either. For me, I feel like Harry Maguire should basically go and get regular football. And then Ben Jacobs on January signing says, don't discount a goalkeeper in January. I'll be surprised if the summer 2026 window ends encompassing January window as well, and Manchester United don't have a new full back. Yeah, but that's just an opinion. According to Ben Jacobs as well, Manchester United plan to sign a new goalkeeper in the summer. We all know that. We talked about it yesterday as well. The decision will depend on Senna Lammens' performances for the remainder of the season, determining whether the club opts for an experienced option or someone to develop alongside him. So we shall see. Then Ben Jacobs also talked about Josh Zirkzee and Kobbie Mainoo. We talked about it at the top of the show. He says, I think both Josh and Kobbie, I think both Josh and Kobbie Mainoo, their perspective is they want to play. So it will be no surprise whatsoever if nothing changes for Kobbie and he goes back to Manchester United and says he didn't give me the loan. He didn't give me the loan in the summer. I now need a loan because again he'll want to force his way into the England chances for the 2026 World Cup. He says, I'm not sure that Manchester United will sign off a loan for either Josh or Kobbie unless they bring in replacements. So the possibility of a January midfielder a general midfielder might unlock the chance for Kobbie Mainoo to go somewhere on a loan, or alternatively, Mainoo will have to change his mind and stay. I don't want a loan. I want to leave the club, the football club, and then we are dealing with pure profit. And if Manchester United valuation is met, he could leave permanently as well. Now, with the way things are going and with the way the whole report is going about the whole Kobbie Mainoo situation, I wouldn't be surprised if Man United just cash in and sell. Trust me, I wouldn't be surprised if Man United cash in and sell. Ben Jacobs also said, I've not heard much on Ter Stegen. I heard Ter Stegen yesterday. The guy just came back from an ACL injury. He doesn't want to leave Barcelona, you know, on any loan. I think he wants to leave permanently. He says there's definitely a possibility, of a move, that a move could be in January, or alternatively could be next summer, but Manchester United and Ter Stegen, not something I'm aware of. Yeah, it is what it is. So that's pretty much all the news we have right now with regards to everything with regards to Manchester United. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Basically, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Everything we've covered, everything we've said to you, we've covered in all the news that we have. But yeah, if we have anything, we'll let you know. But the next video you're going to be watching after this is the match preview for Manchester United versus Liverpool. But thank you so much. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye. And also don't take your comments for granted. Yeah. Take care. Goodbye. And God bless.